Stardew Valley 1.6 has been released for a couple of weeks now, so it's time for a Stardew challenge. And this is by no means going to be an easy one. With an overmodded game adding new areas and characters from Ridgeside Village, Stardew Valley Expanded, Lunar Astray and Mount Vapius, as well as many other mods which add so many more items to craft, cook and collect. We are in for a long challenge and I can't wait to see what happens as we head for perfection. So what is this challenge we are trying to accomplish? Well, we are trying to get one of every possible item in the game, and that includes one of every quality of that item. We're in for the long haul and I am excited to go on this journey with you. Be sure to check out the stream we do twice a week if you want to be involved and hang out as we work on this challenge. So let's dive straight in. We started out as we normally would, setting up our character's appearance and the name of our farm, choosing the backyard as the name, a most fitting name if you ask me. We went with the remix bundles for this challenge as I wanted to see if there would be anything interesting and new with the 1.6 update. And for the map, we have the Waterfalls Forest Farm map to play with. And don't worry, we have all the mods for this series listed on a giant Google Doc spreadsheet, which also lists all the items we are going to be needing if you want to play along too. We started day 1 picking up our first 15 parsnips, answering the mail to find one from Eloise, a young girl from the village of East Scop, a place I don't know much about, so we will have to go and visit her soon. Before opening our second piece of mail to find we were going to have to meet 74 people in this playthrough to get the introductions mission completed. There are so many people that we're going to have to marry and divorce to get all the possible portraits for this playthrough, and this is going to be very interesting as we keep going. After that, we had a quick look through the sheer amount of items we would be needing to ship for perfection, and don't worry, we're going to be adding more mods including Raffidax if we can later. Before finally clearing out a small area to get our parsnips all planted and watered. Leaving the farm that first day, we met Lenny, the mayor and sister of Lewis from Ridgeside Village, before picking up our first forage of the game, which consisted of the daffodil from the base game, as well as 2 new items, peppercorn and Grampleton walnut. A visit to Pierre's blew our mind with the sheer amount of crops for sale, including an entire collection of different types of cactus. But for now, at least to get some money coming in, we kept our purchases pretty vanilla, buying 1 kale, 6 cauliflowers, a bean starter, and 1 potato. We met Sam and Luna for the first time outside the store and immediately found our first geode in the trash. And this would be a good moment to say that we have not only a new binning skill to level up in this playthrough, but an archaeology one too. We met Leah, Penny and Haley on the way back to the farm and got all our purchases from Pierre planted. Using the rest of the day, we became a little bit more acquainted with the new farm layout, finding our first leek, horseradish and a rundown barn that will apparently fix itself over time as we progress. A dandelion and rice shoots were also collected, as well as new modded forage consisting of wild strawberries and avaloon. And we found our first lost book for the library, which is one less thing to get on our item collection. We ended our first day planting down the rice, finding a pomegranate in the giant cave we have under the farm, and decided to ship the pomegranate, coal, clay, weeds, stone, wood, wild strawberries and sap to start ticking off all the items we are going to need to ship. We slept to level up in archaeology on day 2, learning the new recipes for the preservation chamber and wooden displays, making a small amount of gold. We made 207 gold on our first night. Pierre had sent a letter advertising his new larger backpack, and Willie said that we should hop on by to visit him at the beach. Crops all watered, we headed through the forest to the beach, finding our first piece of forest lavender. And after a short conversation with Willie, we got our bamboo pole to start fishing. We fished for a good chunk of time, met Carmen, dropped the fish back at home, and fished in the river on the farm for the rest of the day. We are trying right now to speed run to level 5 fishing to increase their profits to have enough money to buy a decent amount of strawberry seeds later in the season. And in that day we managed to get 15 fish, so not a bad start. And another exploration of the underground cave netted us a wild plum and a gold quality pomegranate. Our fishing leveled up as we slept, and we woke up to rain on day 3, saving us some energy on crop watering. We set up a chest at the lake and started fishing for the day, and as evening descended we headed to the saloon to meet a few more people around the village, allowing us to meet Bert, Andy, Pam, Gus, Emily, Shane, Clint and Harvey. And at midnight on the way home we managed to meet Claire. Again, our fishing leveled up as we slept, and we bolstered our future profits by planting down 20 spring seeds on the morning of day 4. Foraging on the forest found us our first meadow violet and cannoli almond, We bumped into Alyssa as we headed to the village, meeting Evelyn, Carolyn, Olivia, and Jody while we were there. We checked the help wanted board for the first time, remembering we have access to many different requests every day, accepting a request to deliver a dandelion to Emily and horseradish to Pam. We decided to say hi to Morris while we were in the Joja Mart, bumping into Maru and Yuma on the way home, where we decided to ship our first peppercorn and Grambleton walnut to get them ticked off the shipping list. And again, we fished until bedtime. Fishing leveled up again as we headed into day 5, and we are well on our way to getting that money before the Egg Festival comes to town. We received a letter from Susan, who was trapped up at the railroad. Willie told us he had a new rod for sale. Joja removed the landslide to the mines, and Robin let us know we can upgrade our farm from her if we wished. The first of our parsnips were ready, giving us our first farming level up. We decided to ship the 50 normal quality, holding on to the single gold quality one that we had harvested. We found our first wild red onion today just lying out on the road, and arriving in town we had the cutscene with Lewis about the community center. And of course we will be doing the community center run on this playthrough. We made sure to look at the golden plate before leaving and headed up to the mines to meet Marlon for the first time, receiving our rusty sword. We managed to mine down to level 10, fulfilling a request from Clint to collect 4 copper ore as we did so, and we got a decent amount of stuff from our first venture into the mines, including a glow ring, which was a most lucky find. We woke up to Clint at our door with a template for a furnace on day 6, and so we quickly got one crafted before also crafting our first scarecrow. The wizard told us to pay him a visit, and Marlon told us we could join the Adventurers Guild if we killed enough slimes for him. We stocked up on items for the museum, and after some more crop watering, headed into town buying some parsnips to restock the ones we'd harvested the other day. After saying hi to Gunther, we gave him an ancient hand axe, a piece of celestine and jagoite for his collection. We smelted our first copper bar, and then it was off to the wizards, where after some forest magic and potion drinking, we now had the ability to read the golden plate inside of the community center. Louise introduced us to the new ticket system for helping out people, and we traded our first ticket in for some new carrot seeds introduced in 1.6. We got those carrots planted at home, fished a little more, and slept to discover our first level up in the binning skill, giving us the recycling machine and a grilled cheese recipe. The food theme continued into day 7 as we woke up to our first recipe from the Queen of Sauce, and after shipping some rice which was ready to harvest, we headed to Lewis with the gold quality pomegranate we had found as it was his birthday. It was then we checked out the community center to see what would be needed to complete it, finding some bundles that I had never seen before. We met Sophia as we gave Lewis his birthday gift and spent the rest of the day fishing away up the lake, gaining us level 4 in fishing, only 1 more to go. Day 8 saw us accepting a request to deliver a smallmouth bass to Gus at the saloon, before we took a dandelion to finish off the first bundle at the community center, giving us some spring seeds and unlocking the pantry and fishing tank to start working on. We continued our daily chats with Luna, as she's likely the first person we are going to marry in this playthrough, and we fished the day away before shipping those 30 seeds we got from the community center just to get a bit of extra cash. The carrots were ready on day 9, shipping one of them to get it checked off the list, fishing the rest of the day way up the lake again before calling it a night. We got our cat on day 10, naming it Sen, before harvesting another round of parsnips which we immediately shipped for the cash. We found our first silver quality salmonberry in the underground farm cave, fishing the rest of the day away around the village and mountains before finally hitting that level 5 fishing for 25% more profits from fish sales. And we can also craft sprinklers now, so a pretty nice day all around. On day 11, Robin told us she had lost her favorite axe, and we'll get round to finding it at some point, I am sure. We sold all the fish, heading after into the mine to start finding copper, and tried to get down to the iron levels to start crafting up our first sprinklers to start the automated farm empire. The mining was not so productive, and we ended up running into Jazz and Vincent playing near the sewers exit in the forest, and in 11 days we had still managed to find no spring onions in this forest, which is just far too unlucky. Some beach forage found us a fern isle olive, and that evening we completed the first pantry bundle, getting us some fertilizer and unlocking the boiler room to start improving, and we spent a little time clearing out some more of the farm. Our foraging and leveled up that night into day 12, meaning we could now make more soup, which in all honesty does not sound that appetizing. And we had made a grand total of almost 6,000 gold from all that past fishing. All of our spring seeds had grown as well as our first green beans. We delivered a horseradish to Pierre as well as one to Caroline, giving us another ticket and our first peach sapling. And we invested our money in our first backpack upgrade that day. After we headed to the mines, getting all the way down to level 20 and getting a much needed upgrade to our sword, we headed home, planted the peach sapling, and went to sleep as mystery boxes rained down upon the valley. It was the day of the egg festival on day 13, and so we got a large area hoed out and watered, ready for the incoming strawberries, managing to buy 70 in total for the rest of the spring. We were hoping to use the egg festival to meet everyone that we had not yet met, but alas, we still managed to miss some people. But we did get very close to meeting everyone at least. We won the egg race, planting all 70 strawberry seeds, heading on to bed as soon as we'd done so. The Queen of Sauce taught us how to make coleslaw on day 14, and we realized then there were still 6 people we needed to meet. Watering all of those strawberries took a good chunk of our energy, and so picking up a gold quality daffodil, we head on over to give it to Haley for her birthday, deciding afterwards to clear some of the area near the south exit of the farm to make it easier and quicker for us to get in and out until we find the time to decorate with some paths. And we ended week 2 with an early sleep at 4:40 p.m. It was now salmonberry season, and the wildflower mods had been updated as week 3 began. It does look at least that we can plant bushes now for some of the new forage from these mods, which is cool and will make gathering those items a little easier for us. We shipped our first cauliflower, and an exploration of the underground farm cave found us an apricot, spiceberry, and an apple. We collected salmon berries and rosefinch feathers as we headed to the mines, managing to get down to level 30, and we were finally initiated into the Adventurers Guild. We doubled up our furnace array and headed on to sleep for the night. I woke up to some blue clover seeds the morning of day 16 in the mail, which are from the Mount Vapius mod, and it looks like once they are harvested, they fertilize the ground for you for the next crops you plant, which is very nice indeed. We got them planted, and after watering them and the strawberries, it was time to return to the mines. And hey, if you have made it this far into the video, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out as we get further on into this challenge. In the mines, we managed to find the wooden club, but we decided to stick with our sword, and we soon started finding our first bits of iron, getting all the way down to level 43 that day and getting the slingshot as a reward on level 40. We began to smelt our first iron bars that night as we headed on to sleep. It was thankfully a rainy day on day 17, and with our iron ready, we got our first 2 sprinklers set down, and we decided to make a museum run this day. I forgot to mention, but we picked up the day before a new mineral from the mines, meaning we have new minerals and artifacts for the museum as part of this Mount Vapius expansion. We have a lot of things to do for this challenge, and honestly, the more I've been playing this, the more I am excited to do this. The wizard told me about some strange new seeds he had come across, and that we should pay him a visit, and so we headed there first, being given some king parsnip seeds as part of the magical crops mod. We headed around the forest for more salmon berries, coming across a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, which got us the leprechaun hat, and I must say I like it a lot more than the straw one. I got those king parsnip seeds planted, headed to Gunther to drop off 6 more items for his collection, including the new one from Mount Vapius, which even comes with a new wing in the museum for all the new items from that mod. And as a reward, we got some cauliflower seeds, melon seeds, and the new crop seeds of the fire beans. We gave Penny the dandelion she'd requested and headed back to the mines for the evening, getting us a little bit more iron to increase our sprinklers and make our lives easier for watering all these crops. Got the fire beans planted and the cauliflowers in, as I didn't realize at that moment the cauliflowers wouldn't be grown in time before spring ended, but with a challenge so big as this, we're bound to be making some blunders along the way. On day 18, we got some new seeds in the mail from Mount Vapius, a flower called Tagateth. I noticed then that the king parsnips seemed to cause normal parsnips to appear next to them magically. We did our watering duties and then went to give Pam a gold quality parsnip for her birthday. We headed on over to the idyllic beachside town of Each Scarp to deliver a cauliflower requested by Beatrice, donated to the museum, got a ticket from Demetrius for giving him a horseradish, and turned that ticket into some mixed seeds. We spent that evening clearing more of the farm, smelting copper as we did so, making a note to upgrade our pick as soon as we could, and heading to bed that night we unlocked the bee house recipe, And I do wonder at this point if the new flowers in these mods are going to be allowing us to make some special honey. But anyway, our foraging also leveled up that night, giving us access to more bushes from the wildflower mods to craft, as well as tappers and the new mushroom log from 1.6. The blue clover was ready on the morning of day 19, and a crow had actually gotten at my crops. We shipped one of the blue clover off, received the cheese cauliflower recipe from Pam in the mail, as well as a dahlia seed from Evelyn, the ale keg recipe from Pam, and the wildflowers mod, and a request from Jody for a ripe cauliflower. Watering duties done, we found a silver quality blackberry in the underground farm cave. We returned to the mines, hoping for more copper and iron, managing to reach level 47 before we had to leave. More sprinklers were made, and to bed we went. Day 20 was to be the final day before our first strawberry harvest, and after the usual watering duties, we talked to Linus on the way to the mines, as we had been chipping away at his friendship on a daily basis, delving again into the mine for a short spell. We finally met Ideen for the first time in East Scarp and made sure to give Shane a beer for his birthday. A bit of farm clearance that evening got us a new chest set up next to the furnaces, and with the automate mod installed, Oz will now be auto-crafted for us as long as the needed items are in the chest. And that's just one less thing for us to have to worry about doing every day. A crop fairy came that night, and after learning how to make radish salad on day 21, we found several of our cauliflowers and all of the strawberries ready for harvest. We were sure to be making a decent amount of money tonight, and all those strawberries got our farming leveled up, and we shipped 52 of them in total. The Wandering Trader had new books for sale when I arrived that day, and I didn't know these items existed as part of Mount Vapius. And so we added them to our ever-growing spreadsheet of items, buying our first rare seed before heading on to the mines, after saying hello to Linus, of course. We managed to get down to level 54 this day, getting another new mineral from Mount Vapius for the museum, as well as a little bit more iron for our sprinklers. Sleeping that night unlocked the preserved jars for us, as well as bringing in over 6,000 gold from our strawberry harvest. Oh, and our mining reached level 42 that night. The tagates, the flower that I honestly don't know how to say, was ready this morning, and so were the king parsnips. Heading into town, Leah shared a green bean with me in the community garden before I headed to the museum to hand in a new dose of museum artifacts. The museum was already filling up rather nicely. We gave Clint some work improving our pickaxe to make our mining lives easier, and so we finally started setting aside an area to keep track of all the items for this challenge. As part of this challenge, the farm has to be organized and decorated beautifully, so this is not the final resting place of all these chests. We found our first silver quality orange in the underground cave farm, as well as an owl carving which can warp us directly to Mount Vapius when we are ready to start visiting that area. And after renaming our chests so we can keep track of everything a little easier, we headed to bed for the night. Looking back, it appears day 23 was a bit of a random one, as we spent a good chunk of the day fishing, but we did manage to get into Andy's house late that evening to give him a beer for his birthday. And after we spent some time sharing a drink with Shane at the forest lake, I headed home, and I guess my logic for the fishing that day was to start collecting them for the challenge, as we did set up a chest before heading to bed that night, specifically for fish. With the end of spring fast approaching on day 24, we decided to start shipping a few items we had in excess for the shipping collection, including a cave carrot, batwing, slime, bug meat, gloomy bluet, pelican mint, red wild onion, cannoli almond, petite lemon, and fern isle olive. We headed to the flower dance and finally met all the people needed for the introductions quest, as we had been missing Olga and Blair from Ridgeside Village. Shane rejected me as his dance partner, and so I stood to the side and watched the flower dance unfold in front of me before heading home, lighting up some of the farm with hidden torches before finally heading to bed. It was raining on day 25, and so we harvested our first onion and final batch of strawberries for the season, finding out in the mail that the annual Stardew Valley Animal Contest will return, which is part of the Animal Husbandry mod. But this is something that will have to wait until next year for us, as we still have no animals. Befriending Shane had gotten us the marshmallow mixer crafting recipe, as well as the recipe to cook pepper poppers. We shipped another 56 strawberries, making a note to build a coop as soon as possible. We picked up our shiny new copper axe and headed to the mines to stock up on copper, as we had begun to run low. We added one of each type of trash we had collected to the forage chest for the collection challenge, unlocked level 2 binning and the ability to craft more trash bins to potentially rummage through in the future, as well as level 6 farming, which comes with the quality sprinkler recipe as we went to sleep. It was another rainy day on day 26, but Demetrius had traveled through the rain to talk to us about setting up a fruit bat cave or a mushroom cave. As we appear to be able to get fruit already from the underground cave, we have opted for the mushrooms, taking the free dehydrator that comes with it and placing it near the house. We also invested a little bit of wood on paths and a chest to automate the collection of the mushrooms so we don't have to worry about missing out on them every other day when they grow. We deforested our way to Robin's house to first transplant some trees for a temporary tapa setup and then proceeded to get the coop started. We gave a salmon berry to Demetrius to get the How to Win Friends quest finished, gifting Pierre a carrot for his birthday before investing in 4 crab pots and a lot of bait from Willy. The crab pots were placed down on the farm with the chest and the bait. To keep them auto-collecting daily, we added some more items into the chest for the item challenge and headed to bed choosing the Forester perk from level 5 foraging. Day 27 unlocked for us the kitchen mortar crafting recipe from Pierre. We added some strawberries to the dehydrator, told Haley to do the bare minimum to help her sister, donated to the museum, met Moroser at East Scarp, gave Emily a birthday gift, fished for a catfish as it was raining, and we even fished up our first book. And yes, we are of course going to have to read them all, but we are also going to have to keep 1 extra of each one for the every item challenge. On day 28, it was the last day of spring, and we had plans to sell our strawberries this night to get some money ready for the summer crops. We learned how to cook an omelette and shipped off our first dried strawberries. Emily gifted us our first cactus seed, and so we got that planted down. Our crab pots had ensured we could get the crab pot bundle completed this day, getting us 3 more crab pots for our collection and unlocking the bulletin board, which had many new bundles that I hadn't yet seen. Andy and Lewis had an argument in the town square, and so we decided to spend the rest of our last day visiting Richside Village for the first time. Lenny gave us a tour, and after we spent some time with Yuma and Torch before catching some of the fish exclusive to Richside Village and some of the unique forage too. And with that we headed home, sleeping to unlock level 2 archaeology and the grinding crafting recipe. Yuma was there when we woke up on the first day of summer, but after he left we stood there to look at everything we had achieved in our first season of this Stardew Valley challenge. Our coop was ready for chickens. We had crab pots, furnaces, mushrooms automated. A decent amount of sprinklers have been set up, and a pretty good start to collecting of all of the items, I must say, for the first season. But we did somehow find no spring onions, meaning we cannot befriend Jazz and Vincent to get the iridium quality ones, because if we do that, we cannot get the lower quality versions ever and the challenge will be ruined. And of course, we forgot to sell our strawberries yesterday. So buying all the crops we want on day 1 of summer could potentially be an issue, but thinking back now, I don't think we ever found Robin's axe, which could get us some money. I can't wait to start the summer season with you all, and thank you so much for watching this entire video. Our farm will continue to grow, and again, thank you so much to all of you who watched until the end. I hope to catch you on the live streams going forward, or if not, I hope that you enjoy the next video of year 1 of summer of this item collection challenge. So I'll see you all again soon in the backyard farm. Bye for now.